Hey guys, what's going on and welcome to a brand new video, and we are back. Can you please make sure you do like the video because it helps to get out to more people. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it because today is of course your Game Week 12 Premier League predictions. My Game Week 12 predictions, let's go back and check Game Week 11 and see how well we did. So Game Week 11 actually started off with Spurs versus Man United. I predicted a 1-1 draw. It ended a 2-2 draw. So that was a game where really Spurs should have won 2-1. But it was close of getting it perfect. I was actually very close to getting it perfect, but Spurs scored, and then they conceded like right after in the 5th minute, something like that. So yeah, I said 1-1 draw. I will take that. That's a point at least. The next game I said Everton would beat Fulham 2-1. Everton ended up beating Fulham 2-0. So Fulham didn't end up scoring like I thought they would, but I'll take that as well. That's 2 from 2. The next game, West Ham versus Burnley. I predicted a 1-1 draw. It ended West Ham winning 3-2, so West Ham did beat Burnley. That's the first one I got completely wrong with the result. And yeah, the next game was Arsenal versus Sunderland. The shock result of the week, you would say, where Arsenal drew 2-2 with Sunderland. I mean, I said Arsenal would win 2-0 because I thought they wouldn't keep a clean sheet, but Sunderland again getting points on the board, and this time against Arsenal. Very good game, very good performance, and they got it right at the end in a 2-2 draw. Next game, I said Chelsea would beat Wolves 2-0. And I only said 2-0. It ended up being 3-0, so not that far off. The next game is another shock, you could say, where Aston Villa ended up beating Bournemouth 4-0, where I thought it was only going to be a 2-0 Bournemouth win. I thought Bournemouth were going to win this game 2-0. They ended up getting battered 4-0 by Aston Villa. The next game was Brentford versus Newcastle. I said Newcastle would win 2-0, and Brentford ended up winning 3-1, so that's a pretty poor prediction. Crystal Palace versus Brighton was the next game. It ended 0-0. I said 1-0 1-0 Palace, but it ended up being 0-0. The next game was Forest versus Leeds. We don't really have to talk about that. I predicted 1-1 and ended 3-1 to Forest. And the final game of the game week, I said Man City would beat Liverpool 2-1, and they ended up beating them 3-0. So not bad. A couple of good, I got the results right in most of them. Not most of them, in some of them, but hey, I didn't get a score right this week. But I'm fine with that because I think it was a good week. Like, I got some good results. And now we're going to get into Game Week 12 Premier League predictions. How good does it feel to be back? No more international football for at least a couple of more months, like 6 months or something, until March. So, yes. So let's start off with the first game of the game week. We got Burnley at home, and they're facing Chelsea. How do I think this game will go? Well, I think Chelsea are going to have too much for Burnley, even though it's at Turf Moor, and Burnley at Turf Moor, have been good this season. I think they won't have enough, and I think Chelsea will have too much for them, and they're going to win this game 2-0. Next up we got is, of course, Bournemouth versus West Ham. And after Bournemouth got battered 4-0, West Ham have got 2 wins in a row. I just don't think West Ham are going to win this game, though. I have a feeling they're not going to win this game, and they're going to end up losing this game. And I'm going to say Bournemouth are going to win this game 3-1. I think they're just going to have too much for West Ham in this game. And I think, hey, Bournemouth at home, I think they'll win this game. I just don't think West Ham are going to go 3 in a row. Next game of the game we've got is Brighton versus Brentford. Now, this is a game where I think could be a tight one. Like, Brentford have surprised me this season because if you know my Premier League predictions, I predicted them to get relegated. Brighton are a good team. Both of these teams will probably finish close to each other now. Like, looking at the table and how they've performed, they'll probably both finish like mid-table, I think, as far as it goes right now. Right now, I feel like they'll finish around each other. But I do think Brighton are going to win this game. They are at home, and I think they're going to beat them. I think it's going to be a close game, though, and it's going to be a 1-0 Brighton win. Next up, we got is Fulham versus Sunderland. Now, going into this game, what do I think is going to happen? I think it's going to end 1-1. Yes, Sunderland had an amazing start to the season, but I do think they're going to, you'd say drop points. You wouldn't say drop points, but it's a weird thing because you'd say it based off how they performed this season. A draw against Fulham would kind of be drop points. It's weird saying that because they've just been promoted and their goal would have been survival. But it just feels like the way they perform this season, it would be drop points if they don't beat Fulham, who have been poor this season. Fulham, of course, at home, but I think they're going to have two. I think it's just going to end in a draw. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I just have a feeling. Next game we got is Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. Liverpool off the back of losing to Man City. Nottingham Forest off the back of winning against Leeds. Now, I do think in this game, I think Liverpool are going to have too much for Forest. At Anfield, I think it's going to be too easy for them. I think they're going to win this game 3-1, and they're going to get back to winning ways, basically. And yeah, I just think Liverpool are going to have too much for Forest. Next game we got is Wolves versus Crystal Palace, and I'm expecting Palace to absolutely wipe the floor with Wolves. I expect Palace to win this game 4-0. I'm going to say they're absolutely going to batter them 4-0 Crystal Palace against Wolves. I just don't think Wolves are good enough. I think they're very bad defensively. And I think they're just going to get absolutely destroyed. I could see Mateta getting 2 or 3 in this game. So, yeah. Next game we've got is Newcastle versus Man City. Newcastle are at home. They've had a pretty poor start to the season based off where they want to be, which is Champions League football. They've had a poor start. And I think they're going to lose this game as well. Now, because it's at home, I think they're going to put up a fight against Man City. They normally do when it's at home against one of the big teams. I think against Man City, I think Newcastle are going to play well. And I think this is going to end 2-1 to Man City. I think it's going to be a tight one at St. James's Park. And it's going to end 2-1 to Man City. And they're going to win it. Next up, we got is Leeds United versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa, of course, off the back of winning 4-0. Leeds United off the back of losing 3-1. And this is a massive game for Leeds United. You know, this is a massive game for Farke to try and keep his job. And yeah, I do think, though, at Elland Road, the atmosphere, I think could get us over the line. And when I say get us over the line, I think we can get a point. I think this game is actually going to end 1-1. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw between Leeds United and Aston Villa. Next game of the game week is probably the biggest game of the game week, the North London derby. We've got it's Arsenal versus Spurs. I think this game is going to end 2-2. It's going to be a 2-2 draw, I think. Gabriel, of course, is injured, so that's a centre-back gone and not great for my FPL because he's in it. So not great. Hopefully he's not out for long because of the FPL. But in this game, what do I expect? I expect the North London derby. Form goes out the window in these games. And I think it's going to end 2-2, which is going to be Spurs' second 2-2 of this in 2 weeks. And yeah, I just have that feeling that it's one of those North London derbies that is just going to end in a goal thriller game. And yeah, as I said, I predict it going to end 2-2. And the final game of the game week is Man United versus Everton, and I predict this game to actually end in a 1-1 draw. I have a weird feeling that this game between Man United and Everton is going to end in a 1-1 draw. So let me know what your score predictions are in the comments down below. These are mine on screen right now. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.